Source games, indeed.
Source games, yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9005, episode 79, brought to you today by the letter.
It's brought to you by the letter A for alcohol.
Sure, let's go with that. And I actually don't have honestly no idea what we're gonna do, but so I'm gonna start off with a story today, an IT story. So Sign's gonna get a kick out of this.
Oh, here we go.
So
Oh boy.
two stories actually. So first story is we got contacted by the president of a company. The president's like, I want to send bigger attachments. I'm like, okay. So I go in, I maximize his attachment size, and he's like, I still can't send the attachment. I'm like, yeah, well, you can send it, but they can't receive it because there is a cap on each end. He's like, okay, well, how do I fix that then? I'm like, well, you can't. You have to just send them a link to like a OneDrive upload instead. And he's like, oh, that takes too much time. I'll just tell them to increase their receive cap. Okay.
I see you two have suffered through incompetence.
Yeah.
This is the president of your company?
No, president of a client.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, it's always worrying when the people up top don't understand even the basics of what they're in charge of.
No. The president of
That's
this
a
company.
Tuesday.
Well, that's just called normalcy.
Exactly.
But no. See, I'm shortening this story massively. He was quite aggressive and quite not understanding of what I was trying to explain to him. But that's not the fun story. So the fun story is what I texted you, Max. So we get a submission request from our primary contact with this other company, different company, right? And they ask if the password complexity can be decreased or disabled. So the passwords they're trying to put into the server for new users will be accepted because it's just taking them too long to figure out passwords for the new users. And then they go on to say, but they don't want the password complexity disabled. They just want to be able to use the passwords they're entering.
Cheers, bro. I'll drink to that.
And I
Let
kind
me
of
guess. Password 1.
yeah. Effectively, what I've noticed with a lot of these companies is it's usually like the company name and like the date the person joined.
Change me 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's really bad. And I was like, in our group chat, I was just like, so this person wants us to disable the password complexity, and my manager's like, no, they didn't say that. I was like, well, I read between the lines. They're asking us to decrease the password complexity until the point where the passwords they're putting in can work, which is disabling the password complexity. And he's like,
Well, when you
yeah,
put it like that.
yeah.
You mean when you
Like I
translate from idiot?
can't exactly say you're wrong.
Like, I know she said she doesn't want it disabled, but she also said that she wants the password complexity decreased until she can enter in the passwords that she wants. Which,
Don't you have SLAs or something along those lines? Some kind of guidelines where you have to have minimum password complexity?
yes, it's 12. It's 12 minimum, 15 for admins, and then one special character at minimum, one capital letter at minimum, one lowercase letter at minimum, and one number at minimum. And it also cannot be a password that was already previously used for that user.
Yeah, that's all industry standard.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen 8, but yeah, 12 is pretty standard.
It's usually 12 now. If it was 8 previously, they've moved to 12 usually.
Yeah, it went up here about, what, 6 months ago?
And
Well,
honestly,
that might explain the incompetency of my company then.
like I said to Max, the passwords don't actually need to be like this absolute fucking garbled gibberish, because actually garbled gibberish is what brute forcing can still crack, because it'll just do the garbled gibberish as the attempt to crack first. And it's just the sheer length of it that makes it difficult to crack at that point. But like if you just did like shit like apple dash horse dash random year exclamation point, it doesn't like no password brute forcer is going to be able to crack that, because it's both the length and the fact that it's just completely unrelated words. Most password brute forcers shortcut things like trying to use the company name. They try to use, if they know the username, they try to use the user's first name, the user's last name, year they were born, if that information is available. Like you can customize password crackers to use shit that's more commonly used by people. So if you just make it something like, if you're a company that sells umbrellas, if you make your password pastry dash dog 1722 dash iPhone, the password crackers are going to have 0 shortcuts to be able to crack that, and it's going to be something that's way easier to type and way easier to remember than G lowercase u 9 at symbol exclamation point 22 CK.
Yeah, but most
It's like working at
that.
GW and saying "fuck other people" as your password.
I mean, yeah. We do give some people those passwords on purpose because they piss us off, and that's how we passive aggressively show it. But yeah.
Your horror stories are a great reminder of why I keep my mouth shut and don't ask for transfers over to the help desk. Because computers don't talk back. I can just tear them apart if they do.
Yeah, I know. I'm not super enthused working at the
coworker-
help desk, but at the same time, it's like it's bearable. It's just
A coworker asked why I set up a bomb near the computer. I told him just in case it ever laughs. I laughed. The coworker laughed. The computer laughed. I shot the computer.
the bomb went off.
Well, that's a consequence of shooting the computer.
But yeah, so there's that. So anyway, on fanfiction news. So I stumbled across a fanfiction called sign 12 red apples. It's super easy to make a complex password that's easy to remember. It's just people are retarded. So I found a fanfic recently. It was supposedly a Harry Potter DxD crossover, where it was more like a mostly DxD semi-fusion with a bunch of other worlds, including Harry Potter. And the reasoning behind why it was like this mishmash fusion was because it was inspired by everyone's favorite author, Dark Wolf Shiro.
I was about to ask why that sounded familiar.
Yep. So this story, The Game Must Go On, I give it like a 6 out of 10. It's mediocre.
Well, it's better than the 1 out of 10s we usually get.
Yeah, I mean, it could be
1 out of 10s are sometimes super memorable for being so shitty.
True.
Well, yes, that is how we remember them constantly.
Now, it's super mediocre. It could be maybe like a 7. It could have been. Maybe a 6 is being super generous. But there is just so much wrong in the first chapter, and I don't mean on a fanfiction plot basis. I mean just sheer grammar. The sentences, like one sentence I'm remembering is like, in the narrative, the character was like, "Ah, yes, I am a level 72 Umbramancer. That is level 72."
Yeah, I don't think shit like that actually gets picked up by Grammarly if you're using something
it doesn't. They have a beta. They have a person that's supposedly betaing the story.
They have a beta.
Yeah, they have a so I have a long history with this beta. Yeah. So I have a long history with this beta. You might have also known the name Zaralan.
No.
Okay.
Russian Man Returns?
Oh,
yes,
God,
the Russian man.
I heard Zarlan's name. What in God's name have I walked into?
Oh no.
Yeah, so Zaralan was a space battles writer who started off with some pretty cool, interesting post-Golden Morning Taylor stories, and slowly devolved into basically fetish works, where he would just arbitrarily change the breast cup size of characters so they would be just ridiculous, just because he wanted to write about big breasts and shit like that.
That was
Sounds
when he
about
was
right.
got on his jump chain kick.
Yeah.
Look, I just gotta take a
And
moment
then
to
he
say
kind of got into waifu catalog.
Yeah.
And
that's weird. I just gotta take a moment to say I have never fucking understood when people are like, "Oh, all the women have quadruple DF breasts or what? What the fuck?
Some
Those are
people are.
that
They're
there
freaky.
is such a thing as too big.
Yeah.
People.
No, there's
I mean,
not.
Yeah.
yes.
Lie.
If for no other reason than because of the health of the woman saddled with those things.
Anime hentai world, son. Those problems don't exist.
No, they do.
They do if you read the right stories, and those are always the depressing one.
Anyway, so
Yeah,
point
no.
being is that the reason why I know this beta is because they also baited Zarland stories. Now, I famously got into a massive blowout on Zarland's server with his betas, him, and me. And I believe Aura was there watching it all.
I was actually, I think, at the time one of his betas.
Yeah.
But I don't remember this argument.
One of my
so-
biggest criticisms that they refused to acknowledge was basically that the betas never fucking baited Zarland's works. All they did was they
Was jerk
air
off.
quote baited it, which was just they got to read the chapter early, and then they told Zarland it was great, and so then he would post it.
I mean, they were called betas, so
The most I generally didn't go too far into the like grammar and stuff on that. I mostly just acted as like a decent soundboard, like I try to keep some of his stuff tamer than he wanted.
Well,
Neff was one of the few I know who tried to help out.
yeah, this is Lulu. Yeah.
Oh
We're
yeah,
talking about Lulu. Yeah.
Lulu's. It's just yeah, Lulu. I feel like
not
they enabled him
Lupine,
too much.
different Lulu.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lulu.
okay.
They basically had Lulu v Britannia was their username.
Yeah.
I
So
see.
Code Geass fan, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't get involved too much with them. They've poked me once or twice about apparently Zara going a little bit further, a little off the rails or whatever. But that was like a while back,
so,
and that was kind of it.
Supposedly, his entire story, this game must go on story, this entire story was supposedly baited by Lulu. And I am just seeing horrific grammar failure. Like, he legitimately, I am now like 80k words because Lulu was like, yo, come on, give him another chance. He has 60 chapters out. You've only read 2 of the chapters. He gets better later on in his story because he drops a lot of the numbers. Yeah, so that's another funny part. So this is a gamer story, of course, because it's inspired by Dark Wolf Shiro, right?
yes.
This is a gamer story where it's got the excessive amounts of numbers that are constantly thrown about to show how powerful characters are and all of their cool abilities, and he's got the main character getting constant power-ups, and Lulu is correct. Even at chapter 8, it is starting to significantly calm down and become a more coherent story. And the numbers are largely dropped.
Chapters.
Sorry to cut in, but you said did you like leave a review and then Lulu
Yes.
DM'd you?
So I left a review on chapter 1 pointing out the horrendous grammar and me being absolutely shocked that this story has 14,000 favorites.
Of course. Oh God.
Yeah. I was like, how the fuck does this story have 14,000 favorites if this is what we come into the first chapter with? And so Lulu pinged me out on the unofficial fanfiction server. And even brought Cross to the server for the sole purpose of talking to me about his story.
Not even a DM.
No, he brought him to the server, yeah.
Wow.
Like, bro, we have private DMs.
So
you can make a group DM.
Look, as if they come to the server still. I mean, I think he's still on the server. So yeah, he's still on the server.
Down. I just went down to it. I honestly forgot that server exists because no one really talks.
I know, right? But if I could just start collecting people to continuously be there, maybe someday it'll be something. But I don't fucking care. Honestly, I only made that server because all the other servers were imploding at the time. And I was like, here's a refuge server. I don't fucking care about it. The rules are simple. Don't be a dipshit. But either way, so he pings me. He's like trying to explain everything. I'm like, that's cool and all, whatever. Fine, I'll give it more chances. So I read a couple more chapters. Now, we're 80k words into the story, and this author has only spelled Kushina's name, Kushina from DxD, not from Naruto, Kushina's name correctly once.
Impressive.
There's a Kushina in DxD?
Yeah, she's Seorig's queen.
Literally,
Kuisha.
I'm gonna pretend that we all know what the fuck that means and move on.
Oh,
I think,
Kuisha
basically.
Abaddon.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
Whatever, yeah.
Kushina?
Right, my bad, whatever. So they've, well, I guess they're spelling the name correctly then or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's Kuisha.
Is it really? Because I always saw people spelling it Kushina.
I'm looking at the wiki right now. It says
All right, well,
Kui.
okay, fine.
That's how it's spelled.
Then there's my caveat. I'm dumb then. Yes. Either way, though, there's just constant grammar errors, sentences that are just like, and then it like just jumps into a different idea, and then like in the middle of the paragraph, he's talking about one thing, and then just completely disjoints, starts talking about something else. The grammar is fucking awful. The spelling, I guess, is better than I thought it was. But either way, there was still misspellings. There was still incorrect word usage, and I'm just like, bro, what the like? You really gonna sit here and tell me this story was baited? Like, come on. And then so I ping Cross, and he had neither of them have responded, but to no surprise. But I ping out Cross. I'm like, look, dude, you don't even need. I'm not saying do a V2 of your story. I'm not saying you need to go back and fix these chapters. But if you just go back and clean up the sentences, correct the grammar, correct the spelling, make the paragraphs make actual sense in terms of words being used in them instead of just being disjointed messes, your story would be showing a far better face. Like, even if you get better later on, just making it not a second grade reading level mistakes, just be an improvement.
Yeah, but that's work. He's not gonna do that.
Well, I mean, he's got like 7 fucking stories going, and he's written over 2 million words, so he's doing work. So I don't know. I don't know.
That's a lot of effort to put in without improving.
Well, supposedly he's improved at by the time of chapter 60, but supposedly.
Yeah, but that's the equivalent of saying someone, don't worry, it gets good at episode 100. Like,
yeah, I know.
I don't go around telling people to check something out unless I think it can hook them in the first, like, 5 of any given thing.
No,
yeah.
You get 3.
But either way, what I find so fucking funny about all of this, though, is that the author themselves quickly realized how shit gamer systems are and how much they cause the story to implode upon itself trying to put numbers on everything. And they very rapidly dropped numbers. They just basically stopped bringing it up. Beyond just like occasionally like going like, hey, he's a higher level now and he got these new skills, and then they just like didn't bring it up again.
They should just completely drop numbers from all of this bullshit.
And
like,
apparently in his newer stories, he's just like basically discarded the gamer system in near entirety. And it's like, yeah, wow, congratulations, you figured out something that I was trying to tell you, you dipshits, back on Shiro's server before you banned me for doing so. Like, I was trying to tell them that this number bullshit causes stories to implode on themselves all the way back then when Shiro him fucking self was supporting what I was saying. But they were like, no, but the numbers, Mason.
It's honestly sad.
Yeah. Writing my own has made me realize like the problem is they make the numbers the focus of the story rather than the effect of the numbers on the story.
Yeah. Like, I've been reading that one DxD gamer story Sneaky linked in
Game of Monsters, yeah.
I've honestly enjoyed it. It's like, it's not great.
I've enjoyed that one.
It's not great, but it's honestly tolerable. It's enjoyable as like a casual read.
Yeah, exactly.
It has numbers.
Yeah,
it has numbers,
good enough.
but it's generally just like low key stuff. Like, yes, he's gotten better in the skill. It's like, okay, you know what? Fine.
He's better at the skill. The relationship meter went up.
Are you happy now, Caesar? We've now switched to just a base fanfiction screen. Fuck you, Caesar. How are you doing?
Good job, Caesar. Good job, Caesar.
All right,
nice
to see Caesar in the chat.
So,
all right,
thank you
Sneaky.
very
He's always
much.
a joy. He's always a joy
Sneaky,
to listen
let's
to.
spin. You know what we need to get you, Sneaky?
Naruto crossover section. Got it.
No.
No.
It's too late.
No. I was going to
Crossover
say we need
section.
to get you a wheel.
Actually, you know what? Inuyasha crossover section. I'm sure.
Hell
this-
yeah! All right, how many? Wait. Okay, what's the most obscure thing I can think of for Inuyasha?
Sailor
Okay,
Moon.
how many Mass Effect Inuyasha crossovers are there?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
Good
If there's
luck.
more than 10, I'll be
Apparently,
surprised.
9.3k total crossovers for English. Yeah, good
Yes.
luck and have fun as well, Caesar.
But
I'm not trying to pick out obscure ones. I'm just going to the front page. That's too much effort.
okay.
But
Here's
yeah,
where I'll drink to that.
it's
You're
just
drinking anyway.
gamer stories.
Yes, I just finished my 8th beer, so.
Lit RPGs in general are pretty garbage. But they can make things interesting because it does give you a shortcut. Like, say you want your character to have, I don't know, shadow magic powers, right?
I don't like this game.
But there's no reason for them to be able to have shadow magic powers because, like, oh, it's, you know, it's like, well, it's like, I'm going to borrow from Fairy Tail. It's a lost magic, you know? It's like no one in this universe would realistically know shadow magic powers. But you want your character to have shadow magic powers. So how do you explain it? They got the knowledge downloaded to them from the game. And I was like, okay, yeah. Like that.
It's like a lost magic power. Some people threw it away because it was like, oh, it's way too strong.
The
And
Ghost
then,
Teacher OC
yeah.
novel project has now reached 88k words. Congratulations, you finished your first book on your original story. Nice.
That's actually pretty cool.
That's the first book?
Yeah, no, 80k is one book.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, I'm several books in then. Well,
Yeah.
damn.
Congratulations on
The
this
standard
result.
printed American novel size is around 80 to 90k words for a fantasy story.
Oh, Caesar, you have 3 books?
Yeah, third book now. Nice.
Nice.
Congrats.
Impressive.
More than the rest of us have fucking done.
No, that's actually false. I'm now on my second book with Gray. We're now moving into the third book.
Have you? Oh, you wrote an actual book?
No, not actual books, but, you know, fan fiction. But,
Undying
you know.
Scarab.
Yeah. Sorry. No, Sneaky.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
meant
mean original
real
stuff. Yeah,
books.
yeah, I get you.
From a content productions platform, he is still woefully behind your and Max's fucking crack-addled midnight writing sessions.
Actually, no. Shattered Earth, Scorched Steel is only what 100k words max?
It
About
was more
that.
than that.
No, it's actually
no,
pretty
we're-
short.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. You guys never finished it.
Well, it's not that we
Yeah,
never
well-
finished it. It would honestly, it would go for what, like another 20 to 30k words at most.
I think we decided we were like, if we sit down to finish it, we're just gonna speed run it and
Well,
cut like
we
half
were
our
always going to
content
speed
out.
run it. I mean,
Well, I know, but we had way more content we want to do, and then it's like,
we had additional content. We had fan fiction DLC effectively.
Yeah.
But no, you know, just the Dark Souls story itself was only going to be another 20 to 30k words at most.
Yeah, we should probably talk about redoing the ending as well, or
Maybe.
at least offering all the endings that we discussed.
Oh yeah, offering all the endings. Yeah, I could.
Well, yeah, that might be fun. Just choose whatever ending you want.
Hey, sorry
Well,
we've been gone so long.
we can't
here's the endings.
legally do
question
that,
mark.
but
Yeah, we can. We can just make a new chapter.
choose your own adventures are not allowed. But if we just make all the endings like
Yeah, no, we can just,
possibilities,
like we said,
Look,
we
I
can
guess.
just do what
Just
Fate
pull
does.
an Oblivion. Just pull a fucking Bethesda and just go, all of the endings are canon. Fuck you.
Well,
we're
no,
moving.
we could just do what Fate does and be like, this is the good ending, this is the bad ending, this is the true ending.
Yeah.
Different routes, yes.
Also, notice how the good ending is never the same as the true ending. Fate.
Fate didn't do that. Tsukihime did.
No, Fate did it too.
No, Fate did too.
No, Fate only had good and bad ends.
No, it had true
Pretty
ends.
true.
3.
Yeah.
I do
It definitely
not
had
remember.
true
I
endings.
do
No,
not
no,
remember the true endings then.
The Fate Stay Night visual novel had a true endings. Yeah.
Yeah, the true ending is not UBW, it's
Heaven's Feel, I believe.
Yeah, it's Heaven's Feel.
Oh, I thought you meant
Yeah.
per route. It has a single true
no,
ending.
no, it's a true ending. Unlimited.
I just don't remember them.
played
I
with-
remember the good ending and the good endings, and I remember the multiple bad ends.
there's Heaven's Feel, there's UBW, and I know there's
Yeah, no,
one
yeah,
more.
here we
Yeah,
have
the
the
fate
multiple
route.
bad ends, and then we have the good ending of Unlimited Blade Works, and we have the true ending of Unlimited Blade Works.
What was the true ending of Unlimited Blade Works?
So the good ending of Unlimited Blade Works is the good ending is Saber destroys the Holy Grail. Shiro wakes up in the aftermath of the war to discover Saber is alive and well, revealing that Saber did not disappear and is able to maintain her contract with Rin. Remembering Archer's words, Saber entrusts Shiro with providing her an answer as to whether her wish is wrong, and she, defends them. Blah 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 blah. And they live happily ever after, and they train Shiro to become a proper Magus. The true ending. The true ending of Unlimited Blade Works only occurs if you max out Rin's affection before Saber destroys the Holy Grail. Saber, after destroying the Holy Grail, begins to disappear. Inspired by Archer's own revelations, Saber chooses to forsake her wish for the Grail of her own will, satisfied that Rin will take care of Shiro, and she disappears. A month after the war, school ends. In the aftermath of the war, Kairei's new successor, with Kuzuki officially considered missing, Shinji, as he heals, seemingly starts to mend his relationship with Sakura. Apparently humbled from being saved, Rin is officially in a romantic relationship with Shiro, who has been training in magic under her as an apprentice, planning to become a proper Magus following Kiritsugu's ideals. Rin plans to head to the clock tower, receiving her admission as the Tosaka successor. She offers Shiro a place as her apprentice to train him. Shiro accepts, recalling his duel with Archer as he vows to catch up with Archer with Rin's help. That's the true ending. So what happened? What the reason why you don't?
Utopia.
Yeah, the reason why you don't remember the true ending, Max, is because when people write the true ending, or just an ending of Unlimited Blade Works, they usually mash the good and true endings together, where they still have Saber stick around.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Ufotable also did in UBW.
It's
Pretty sure.
possible. Yeah.
Because they did the part where Shiro gets to be in a threesome and also gets training at the clock tower.
Yeah.
So I completely forgot about that.
And I didn't.
Somehow, the true ending of Fate was less degenerate than what the fans wrote.
Indeed.
Amazing.
But yeah, so each route has their own good, bad, and true ending.
I just completely forgot about the true endings. Although I gotta say, UBW's true ending is probably one of the better ones because that means Luby is now on the scene.
But originally we actually did plan to do good, bad, and true ending. The bad ending, we were joking we would just make its own story, because the bad ending would be Havel would be alone the entire time, and he ultimately dies fighting Gwyn.
Oh, the Dark Souls ending.
Yes.
Wait, was that what we?
Yeah, that's what I sent you all the way
discussed?
back. Yes, all the way back in the day, I sent you a bad ending for Havel, in which Valkyrie never summoned him, and instead he was just brought forward to be the chosen undead. And he went through the entirety of Dark Souls having to kill all of his former friends, gone mad. And ultimately, when it comes down to killing Gwyn with a final blow, he hesitates, allowing Gwyn to kill him.
Right, yeah, because we went, well, that's not just a bad ending, that's just a bad route.
Yes.
You went dark.
I think we actually had, like, a couple of quote-unquote bad ends planned, I think.
Yeah, but those were more omake bad ends than actual, like, this is a true bad ending.
Yeah, well, I know.
We had
We
the good
had...
end, which is where Havel and Valkyrie end up back in Havel's time after defeating Gwyn. And Havel vows to try and prevent the future from happening. And the true ending was Valkyrie sacrificing herself, destroying the first flame, and basically bringing an end to the cycle of Dark Souls.
Bitched.
Yeah. I don't think we ever actually planned out a bad end for that one.
Well, the true ending was also sort of the bad ending, because everyone died.
Well,
And
to be
none of
fair,
it
that's
mattered.
Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean that's just the correct Dark Souls ending, but fuck Dark Souls.
Sasuga Miyazaki-san.
Hey Miyazaki, can you write something that's not depressing as fuck? No? Okay.
Yeah, here's Elden Ring. By the way, this guy rapes corpses.
You know, at
Feet.
least we got like a good ending in Elden Ring with Ronnie's quest line.
Yep.
Technically.
Yeah.
No, the default ending is also like
No,
neutral good.
the default ending is kind of evil because it ultimately reinforces the greater will back on the world, which is cringe.
Okay, but it's not explicitly bad. Like
It's
greater
implied
will's
that
not great, but
it's
it's
implied
not.
you fix a lot of things as
Just because the
new
greater
element.
will isn't the chaos flame does not necessarily make it a good ending.
That's why I said like neutral good, because you do fix a lot of the problems. It's just they're gonna happen again.
Well, no, you don't
I
even
feel, I
fix a lot
feel
of the
like
problems.
picking.
The literal ending of fixing the ring without doing anything else to it is quite literally just everything is just going to continue on until someone else comes and kills you and does something else. You don't fix any of the problems, nothing changes, the cycle continues.
It's the same issue with most of the default endings in Dark Souls. Congratulations, you have continued the cycle.
Yeah.
The death one is bad.
The death one is pretty bad. Obviously the chaos bed one's really bad.
Age of Order is okay.
Yeah, the reforging the golden order under your will is possibly the neutral good ending. That's
Dragon ending.
Yeah, it's basically the dragon ending. Ronnie's ending is the only ending I would consider actually in the good section.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you do that, you're called a simp.
Ronnie is
Well,
worth being called a simp.
no, hang on. It depends on whether or not you talked to the doll to become a simp. Like if you follow the right quest line, you end up working for right. There's the version of it where you work for Ronnie, and then there's the version of it where you work for Ronnie as a simp.
I don't think you have the option. I think the only way to progress
No,
your
I don't.
quest line is to
Yeah,
talk to the
Sneaky's
doll.
right. I'm pretty sure you can't. There's only one option. You become her consort at the end with the whole ring, and then she does that
Yeah,
ending. You can't do it otherwise.
you
No,
don't.
I'm pretty sure there's an option where she doesn't refer to you as like my dear consort or what. Like
No, she does.
Yeah, you find her sitting by the corpse of the two
Uh,
fingers.
no, I know.
killed.
You find her sitting by the corpse.
You only get invaded by what's his face if you talk to the doll.
There is no escape from being a simp, as apparently it is now.
Because like it's literally gated behind her quest. Speaking with her.
Yeah,
Truly,
like
what
it's a
did
straight up
Miyazaki mean
cutscene.
by
You can't
this?
really skip. You can't really just go around that and still get the ending.
And you also have to put the ring on her finger, effectively marrying her to activate her in the final part. So even if you somehow manage to skip talking to the doll, you still have to put a ring on her finger. So
I could have sworn there was a thing where you could get different dialogue because that was something that happened with you and
no,
me.
you get additional dialogue if you talk to the doll again and then go back to her tower and talk to the doll at the high tower.
That's what it is. It's additional dialogue.
Yeah, you just get additional dialogue.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta say, by the way, what is it with Miyazaki and the good endings being like night? Like the good ending. Well, I don't know. If it's the good ending.
Something berserk.
I don't know if it's the good ending for Dark, right? But the penultimate end of Dark Souls 3 is I will paint a cold, dark, and very gentle world, and Ronnie's going to make a cold, dark, and very gentle night.
Effectively, it's the sort of idea of you have to let the flame finally die so people can rise up in adversity. So, there's this thing called the four corners or the four cycles, and it's boiled down to strong men make good times make weak men makes bad times make strong men. And Miyazaki's interpretation of this is that by letting the fire fade, by letting the night take over, you will enact a temporary period of hard times upon the people, but because of those hard times, they will grow more than they would as if you had just tried to continue the cycle of fire.
I feel like that's looking too much into it.
Well, this is
Bro,
a
the
Dark
entire
Souls
fucking
game.
series is about deep philosophy.
I'd
Literally?
love to get an interview with him about this and him answer the same way that Hideaki Anno did
You're
for some
reading
of
too
Eva
much
stuff,
into it.
I thought it was cool.
Well, I mean, you can like okay, you can look at the idea of the four corner philosophy and go, that sounds cool. I want to put that in there, and that's as far as you think about it. But that doesn't mean the philosophy stops being a philosophy, even if you're only putting it in because it's cool.
I'm not saying that it doesn't. It's just, again, it'd be interesting if this is one of those things where, like, why this particular philosophy? I just thought it was neat.
Yeah.
Whereas other people tend to start attributing it to the writer.
Oh no, I
So-
don't attribute it to the writer at all. I don't, because I'm not going to try and guess what his motivations behind it were. I'm just saying that's what the philosophy in the game was.
Reminder
Congratulations,
that
Sneaky.
Anna
You are
was
better than at least 70% of literary critics and English teachers out
I
in the
know.
world.
I carry that
Anna
badge of pride.
was stoned out of
God
his
forbid
mind
the
and
couch just be
depressed.
blue because they like the color blue, right?
Max,
No,
Oh,
the
fuck
couch is
you.
blue.
You have to write a 3-page paper on why the curtains are blue and how it made the author sad.
You know what's unfortunate though? It's all of those literary critics that are like that are completely vindicated when it comes to writers like J.K. Rowling. Because it's like, oh, why is Ron like this? Because I have to vent my issues about my ex-husband. Why is Hermione like this? Because she's my idealized self. Oh, why is Harry like this? Because he is a representation of my childhood traumas. And it's like everything Rowling does in her Harry Potter books are all basically her just venting about her life.
But like, okay, here's the counterpoint. There are tons of like poetry authors who like their works got overanalyzed.
Oh, I know.
and
I'm
they're
just
like,
saying, like they get
fuck
vindicated
off,
by J.K.
pretty
Rowling.
poem. Yeah, I know. It's like that was always one of the things that bugged me to death. I forget what was it. Who was the poet who went to a college class and his like the fuckers in the class told him that he didn't understand his own poem?
I know who you're
Sorry.
talking. You know, no.
That did not happen.
Oh yeah, no, it happened. I actually
No.
I know who he's talking about, but I don't remember
I
the
can't
name.
remember their name. I
Yeah.
just remember that it happened, and the poet was like,
was it Silverstein?
I might have been.
That upsets me so much. Like, I've had talks with you about this, Sneaky.
Yeah.
I despise the death of the author trope. Like, I don't have a problem if you come to a different interpretation of an author's work. I have a problem when you attribute your interpretation
To
to
the
this
author.
author's
Yeah.
person. And it's like, they wrote about fascism, so therefore they like fascism. It's like, no, it just made a handy medium for the plot.
Yeah. Oh, that
Uh,
I mean,
fuck, who was it?
sometimes, yes, it's because they're fascists, but like 9 times out of 10, it's just a useful storytelling medium.
Well, it's sort of like Wild Bell for a good example for Worm stories, where he's putting all the fascism and the gang hierarchies and crap in there because he's like he wants to vent about it and how much it sucks and how it ruins shit and governments basically being a large gang and stuff like that. He's venting about his own problems, but he's not like putting them in there because he likes them.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Tanya writer as well, who's putting a bunch of communist shit in there because he wants to fucking dunk on communism.
Oh, I thought he just really loved economies from what you guys have explained to me.
He does.
He
really,
does.
He does really love economies as well.
Honestly, half my fun with reading Tanya is like, wow, what an interesting breakdown of economic theory. If you had no fucking soul.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also at the same time, it is Chicago.
You imply economists have souls.
Hello, Nexus.
Some of them do. I guess a better way to say that would be if you had no soul, but somehow were still an actual well-meaning utilitarian, as opposed to economists today who are just jerking themselves off making money.
Well, not even that. They're actually most economists today are jerking themselves off losing money trying to enforce their political ideology upon the world.
honestly, I think the only one who hasn't gone that far is what's the guy? Kramer?
Kramer's just fucking dumb.
But he's still. Here's the problem, Sneaky. He's dumb in the right way.
I guess. I mean, either way. What are we looking at today? Well, we're sitting here in the Inuyasha crossover section talking about a lot of things like how to write stories.
Because we don't want to touch any of these.
Yeah, but at the same time, like Dragon Ball Z Inuyasha, like what the fuck, dude?
That is the epitome of an unfair fight.
Yeah, but you know, it actually brings up because I was talking with Max earlier about this. I don't know, was it today, yesterday? I think it was definitely yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. How anime of today is garbage, and how like the kids of today just are like so deep up their own ass that like they won't watch Gundam because it has the word Gundam in it, and quote Gundam isn't made for them. And so they just don't watch Gundam at all, period, no matter what kind of Gundam show comes out. Because they're like, oh, well, Gundam's not for me. It's for, you know, those 38-year-old assholes who watched Gundam when they were children.
No, but that's a completely different thing. Like, guess what, Sneaky? They came out with a new Gundam designed to be aimed more at teenagers, and guess what? Their viewership fucking spiked. So
Blooded Orphans?
Oh, I know, but
No.
didn't they advertise that as Witch from Mercury and not Gundam Witch from Mercury?
No, they
it was always
advertised it as
Gundam Witch from
it's Gundam,
Mercury.
the Witch from Mercury. Like,
Yeah. I sent him a small snippet of an interview where the guy in charge, he's got a hand in directing Witch from Mercury, was like, yeah, it's kind of the kids are specifically
oh
saying,
yeah,
I'm not
I
watching
read that
stuff because
article.
it's not made for me, and I was lamenting how like other countries outside of Europe and the US are now starting to see their generations do that, where it's like,
Yeah.
you don't need something to be made for you
to
enjoy it. There's plenty of stuff I've watched growing up and watch now, like,
And
this
then
was not made for someone like me, but there's something very appealing about this. It's
and then I brought up
good.
Inuyasha with how it's like this action and adventure story if you focus on the main character being Inuyasha. But if you focus on the main character being
Kagome.
Kagome, right? Then it's like this big romance drama that attracted female viewers, and that how you know, fucking Toonami is going into a death spiral, and Cartoon Network's going into a death spiral again because they kept trying to focus on only the shows that got views, and they tried to look at the shows that got views, and then they tried to manufacture cartoons that specifically appealed to the shows that got views, thinking that because this new show is like the shows that got views, then people would watch that new show, but they don't. Because they're trying to manufacture popularity instead of what the Japan method used to be, which was just really just churning shit out, and whatever story got popular got the anime.
I mean,
Even
there's
stories that aren't highly popular get anime sometimes.
there's downsides to both approaches.
Oh no, absolutely. There's downsides to both approaches, but it's fueled the death spiral that a lot of these TV stations have, because they keep trying to appeal to a smaller and smaller minority when they think they're appealing to a larger minority, because they're like, oh well, everyone's watching this, so if we just keep appealing to what everyone's watching, then people will continue watching it. And what they're seeing is that that's actually the opposite of what's happening, because they keep narrowing the niche down, like the fucking regular show. Like, who watched the regular show? Fucking no one.
I remember a lot of people that watched it.
Handful of people watched it.
Yeah, Nose, you watching it is not a credit to the show.
I was saying I remember people watching it. I don't. I don't watch
do
it.
not know a single human being who watched that show.
I mean,
Like,
I
here's
can
the problem.
say I watched a couple of episodes if it was the only thing on.
Right, exactly. But like that's different though. Like
Sometimes
specifically
was
tuning
good.
in at 5 o'clock because the next episode of Blank is on. That's what I used to do. And now with all of then all of those shows ended, or you know, they got canceled off of that network. And then it would be like, okay, what's 5 o'clock now? Some fucking random ass show about two burnt out college kids who work at a golf course and just fuck around the entire day and cause half of their own problems. And the only reason why they still have a job is because their boss just lets them get away with it. oh wow, that's so fucking riveting. It so speaks to me. That's what I want to waste my time watching, is some fucking show that's a little bit too close to life.
Oof.
You mean you don't want to watch that?
I don't want to waste time watching it, no. Regular
Yeah.
show, I wanted to watch Adventure Time. I tried watching Adventure Time. It was too forced too often. The problems were way too forced too often, where it's just like, this is how the character acts normally. And in this one episode, they for some reason just completely act completely out of character, just solely to cause a problem, so the rest of the show can be spent solving it.
Yeah, the problem with Adventure Time is the same problem that I had with Steven Universe starting out.
Mm,
There's a story and a world here,
yeah.
but because Cartoon Network is trying to appeal to younger kids, it's not allowed to be a story, despite the fact that the stuff we grew up with was allowed to be a story.
Well, some of the stuff, like on your average day-to-day stuff, Ed, Ed and Eddie was not a story. Fairly Odd
No,
Parents was
no,
not a
there was a
story.
consistent,
No,
but there
no,
was a
Ed and Eddie had
consistency
an
in Ed and
interesting
Eddie.
story. Yeah, no,
There wasn't necessarily a story, but it was at least overarching, and it was consistent throughout.
I'll grant you that it was consistent throughout, but I'm just saying you may be slightly overestimating the storytelling nature of it.
well,
Like,
no, you also have to keep in mind that Ed, Ed and Eddie didn't try and approach
you'll notice that I
storytelling.
didn't include Avatar in that list under Played Creations. Avatar was an exception that absolutely told a whole goddamn story and was fabulous.
Yeah, exactly. But Ed, Ed and Eddie was the sort of storytelling that didn't try and tell like this continuous narrative. Each episode was basically its own self-contained thing. It was part of an overarching narrative that over time affected the characters. But each individual episode was its own little thing, and each individual episode was also not a forced story. It's these three kids were hooligans. They got up to shit. You entered the show knowing that they were going to do some stupid scheme, and it was going to inevitably backfire on them because they always end up overreaching. But you still watched it because you wanted to see how it exploded effectively.
Yeah.
You wanted to see how it
And
grew up
at
in
the
those
end,
days.
what they were going to do to try to make it right.
Because that was the premise of the show, is these three kids, they wanted some candy, and they were gonna hatch a scheme, because that's what we did back in the day. Like, I fucking remember doing this, like, oh man, dude, I could go for a candy bar. I'm gonna sell lemonade out front of my house and charge
Yes.
like $1 for it. And then a bunch of adults would pass by and, they would pay me the $1 because they're like, oh, hee hee ha, this, kid's got a lemonade stand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll humor him and buy his lemonade. Shit like that. Oh yeah, you get your homework done. I'll charge you $0.25 to do it. Like not understanding the value of money, not really understanding like the kind of long-term consequences that it might inflict upon you. But in the moment, it sounds like a cool idea, so you get up to shenanigans to try and get that bag of chips, that that fucking candy from the corner store or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you could as a kid, and even now as an adult, I can look back at those episodes and maybe I won't watch them because I already kind of watched them all. But I could, if it came on and my little brother was watching it, I might sit down with him and watch it again. But like if regular show comes on, I'd just be like, fuck this shit. Why would I bother watching?
Time to walk out the room.
Adventure Time comes on, I'm just kind of like, oh boy, another forced adventure with characters specifically creating, like he's supposed to be a hero, but then he goes and does something really fucking stupid and completely against his character for the sole purpose of creating a conflict for the episode. And it's kind of anti-storytelling because it's going against the narrative of what the characters are supposed to be like. Avatar was again great because it had a super overarching plot and an end goal, a clear end goal. That was another thing that Avatar had that a lot of the other shows didn't have. It had a clear end goal. You always knew how the story was going to end. Aang was going to confront the Fire Lord. That was how the story was going to end, and you knew that from like episode 2.
What is the goal here? Fuck up the Fire Lord.
Hell, freaking Code Lyoko technically had an end goal, even with its like weekly shtick of insert conflict here.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
right.
Well, Lyoko is also French. We're trying to focus mostly
French.
on Western stuff.
Okay,
To be
fair
fair,
enough.
Well, and
wasn't
Well,
Avatar
sorry,
also
American
French?
made stuff.
no.
No.
Avatar was American made.
Avatar was American.
Okay.
Code Lyoko was also, it should be noted, less defined as in we want to stop Xana, but there wasn't a real clear like how do we stop Xana? What are we doing here? Like,
I
right?
mean,
Fair.
Avatar the
that's
Last.
kind of not entirely correct. Like in the first season, it's not clear, but
They
that's
started
that was
developing
part of
ways
the
to
buildup
make
Yes,
the
was
show
figuring
as
work.
they
out
got there
how do
more
we
and
do
more,
it.
yes.
What
But like,
that's what
The
made
goal
Code
was always
Lyoko cool. Was
Yeah, the
that
goal was always clear. We're gonna stop Xana, but we don't know how we're gonna do it. Avatar did
yes,
the same thing. We're gonna stop the Fire Lord, we just don't know
well,
how to
no,
do it yet.
Avatar was a lot more clear about that because it was
Oh
like,
yeah, it
okay,
was.
look, we're gonna learn water, and then we're gonna learn earth, and then we're gonna learn fire, and then we're gonna fight the fire. And it's like, okay,
Wasn't
that
like the
was
whole
clearly defined milestones that
yeah.
we knew what we were getting into with each season. Code Lyoko was more along the lines of a teenager action adventure in where the teenagers are so in over their head, they know they're in over their head, but who the fuck else do they go to? Because all the times they try to tell other people that are more responsible than them about it, the people either die, get possessed by Xana or whatever. They try multiple
turn
times.
traitor.
Yeah, turn traitor. They
Like that
tried
one girl they
multiple
brought
times.
in.
Yeah,
They brought in one girl. She called the police on them.
yeah.
She literally brought the police to them and
Like they
shit.
I mean,
tried
to be
multiple
fair, that was
times.
not the worst decision.
It's not, but at the same time, though, it's like okay. Also, at the same time, her dad. Like they find out more. Like, oh, her dad died working on this project, and then they find out more. Like, okay, we can probably stop Xana by controlling these towers entirely, and then he won't be able to affect the world anymore. And oh shit, there's actually a sixth zone. Oh shit, if we do all of this, her life force is tied to Xana.
Yeah, like they shut down
Like
the whole computer.
E-
She
So we have to
dies.
get her out of
yeah,
the computer.
each time they make progress, there's a new goal they have to reach now because they are
The enemy is
teenagers. They
adapting.
don't know. Yeah, the enemy's adapting. It's like this whole progress, and it felt like even though the milestones kept getting piled on, it felt like progress was being made for the teens as the show progressed.
It also made sense since that their enemy is not something so static. It's straight up learning. It's adapting. It's also growing just as they are.
Also, possibly the most clever usage of time travel I've ever seen.
I will grant you, it had a great use of time travel. And real talk, some of those episodes legit spooked me
Oh
as
yeah.
a kid. Like, listen, I'll admit it, the zombie one spooked me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
They had no
they-
chill with that show.
They
Yeah,
took that one down to the
Well, see
fucking wire.
that's because they had that whole time reset thing where they knew that if they managed to succeed at the end, whatever happened could be reset, which made you go, "Oh shit, are they going to reset? Are they going to reset? Are they going to reset?" with every episode because they did have some episodes occasionally just to remind the audience
Yeah.
that sometimes they don't succeed and they have to just deal with the consequences of whatever happened.
If I remember correctly, wasn't it like later in the seasons that
Yes.
after a point Xana's
The-
time traveling actually made Xana powerful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the failure each time they failed, in later seasons they started to build up the failures more and more as they got less and less ability to directly stop Xana doing whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
Or it, whatever. Fourth season we don't talk. Amateur writers shitting out their latest power fantasies get lots of readers because stupid kids like that sort of thing. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Same way, edgy Dark Naruto, Harry Potter fan fictions and shit like that, except anime companies tend to take notice of that sort of readership and decide to shit out animes based on whatever the hotness is, which, I mean, is fair enough, and it works to an extent for Japan, and it works to an extent for outside of Japan in terms of viewership. It's just the problem is, for Japan, is that they don't really consider anything outside of Japan as relevant when it comes to making anime. Even if, the entirety of the US vastly dwarfs the viewership that Japan would receive from a anime,
but
it doesn't matter.
That's been a problem that Japan has had
Yeah.
for a very long time of being very ethnocentric, which they are slowly starting to like. It sounds dumb, but a great example of it is like, for instance, the amount of Gundam games going to the whole world.
Yeah. Another
The
funny
amount-
thing is
The amount of kits they're finally starting to
I don't
ship
know if
out
I
is
brought this up
That's
on
not a
stream
problem.
before. Yeah. I don't know if I brought this up on stream before, but if you all remember, Calliope Mori, the VTuber rapper, got signed on by Universal Music Japan, and she had to fight with Universal Music Japan to get them to open an international store because, according to her, when she was talking with Universal Japan, they didn't think that anyone outside of Japan bought music.
Oh, I remember this bullshit.
Because what happens is with all of these third-party stores is they buy the stuff in Japan and then ship it out of Japan. So as far as statistics are concerned, it all shows up as in Japan purchases.
Yeah.
Instead of external purchases.
And it's a
and
vicious
so they
self-perpetuating
literally
cycle.
believed that no one outside of Japan bought anything, like merchandise, music, ever. And it's just like, and she's like, no, trust me, just put up an international store, you'll see. And within like 3 days, they already sold out of everything on the international store. And they go to Cali and they're like, what the fuck? Why is everyone buying everything? We're already sold out. We have to keep making more shit, and we sold out of that too. And she's like, yeah, I fucking told you.
Well, it's like, right, as an example, I just today got a box from an importer site, right? Because I wanted to pick up the Ruby. I almost said Grim Eclipse. That's not right.
You didn't want to pick that up. I picked that up for you.
Yeah, but I almost picked up the soundtrack from
Right.
Ruby. I wanted to pick up the soundtrack from Ruby Eyes Queendom, and then of course, just because buy X amount of shit, get free shipping. So I grabbed some Fire Emblem plushies and a Gundam bag. Like, none of that is shit I can get outside of Japan. But like, I would have liked to.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have this stuff available to purchase.
Music actually is going a bit better. It has been for the last 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Since digital streaming services become more common. It's getting easier to find larger Japanese bands stateside on like Amazon Music and iTunes.
Yeah, because statistics are starting to prove that, hey, people outside of Japan listen to music, which is by far the most baffling fucking thing I have ever heard come out of someone's mouth is, I legitimately thought that people outside of Japan didn't listen to music.
Like, if they just, like, there's a really easy addendum to that would have made this statement 6,000% less ridiculous, right? Japanese music.
Yeah. But no,
right?
It's just
but
music doesn't exist outside of Japan, according to these people.
Well, the uncultured barbarians don't know what a fucking instrument is. They just yodel.
They don't know what a shamisen is.
Yeah,
man.
It's
clearly they don't know music. Clearly, we're all just uncultured barbarians that only listen to anime OPs and rock and metal.
But
no, see that disproves their point, Nose.
Yeah, you.
So speaking of the Inuyasha section, want to see another stupid ass fucking crossover? That for some reason.
No, but you're gonna show us anyways.
Exactly, of course I am.
By the way,
oh shit, I forgot we were on
Japan.
that.
If you could just please like put your fucking merch out,
No.
people will buy it. I promise.
They refuse.
I had to fucking import blind boxes of goddamn FE4 statues made in 2015.
They refuse. You will not receive any fun things. Fuck you.
All I want is my boy Selif.
This is revenge for the nukes.
Actually, Caesar, the big push for non-Japanese VTubers came from Kiryu Coco.
Yeah.
Who was originally a Texan.
No, she was a Georgian.
A Georgian, right? No, she was in Texas for a while as well.
Why do people in Georgia keep ending up in Texas? What the fuck?
Because Texas is
Coco
more awesome
came
than
later
Georgia.
after the hard R moment from Miko. No. There's no way Miko's hard R clip from GTA was pre-Coco by that much. Because like Coco was like, what gen was Coco? 4th, 3rd?
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
they're
go
better
with
than
you,
most
I
of
don't
us.
fucking remember.
Miko's
she's
hard
4th
R
gen.
moment came before Corone even debuted. Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, Kiryu is a 4th gen.
But even then, though, even that didn't really get the ball rolling. For non-English VTubers until Coco. Like Coco was
Gura
the
is
one
the
that
only
pushed for
VTuber
it.
that matters.
Who was?
Gura.
You know what? Fair enough.
I mean, listen, other people pushed for it, but Gura's what fucking annihilate. Well, no, actually, Project Melody would have had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, but
no,
Japan
like,
doesn't care about Project.
unironically.
No, but Japan doesn't care about Project Melody. Project Melody was just a basically proof of concept that it was something that people would enjoy in the States, and Japan
Yes.
doesn't pay attention to that. Japan only pay attention when one of
To
their
Japan.
top
I
earners
know. I'm just saying.
in Japan said, "Hey,
Also, it's the ad break.
yeah, ad break time," which is why we're talking
Yay,
about
ad
pointless
break.
shit. Yay! Yeah,
It's
a shame, but we
time
aren't
for
saved.
another drink.
indeed.
Okay, I think you need to slow down a bit, Nose.
No.
Drink faster.
Drink,
Okay,
drink.
look. Nose, the Saint is saying slow down. Slow
Coco was
down.
hired because of Miko, Matsuri, and Fubuki went viral in the West. Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that. But still, Coco was pretty fluent in Japanese, as far as I recall.
All right, this is
She
my
was
last beer.
insanely fluent
Fine.
because I'm pretty sure one of her parents is Japanese. So yes, she would have grown up with Japanese and English.
Yes, Matsuri's Band-Aid story and Fubuki with Scatman. Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
With what? No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Do you not?
So,
Fuck you, Amazon. I'm not buying another fucking Orc Boy pack.
Patton, have you never heard the Scatman?
No.
I'm a scat man.
Like, I know that in this case it's scat, the musical context. I still just don't care.
yeah, honestly, I actually genuinely never knew scat meant shit for the longest time. Like, I knew scat
Same.
from Scatman more than
Yeah.
any other context before.
Yeah, when I learned what the scientific term for shit was, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate
Yeah.
because that's a really cool genre of music too.
I found out about
Completely
scat
ruined by the
as
internet.
Yeah.
I found out about scat as shit before scat as a musical term, because it came up in like a couple like kids, not like kids fantasy, but like fantasy novels where the tracker's talking about scat, and I'm like,
that's
what
fair,
the
yeah.
hell is this? Oh shit,
Uh,
they're following shit, and they
Yeah,
didn't want to write shit.
I found that out from some old like I think it was a Korean manual or whatever or something long ago, and it had like some sort of golden
Yeah,
bat called the Golden
7
Scat.
ads by Twitch.
Yeah, I got 7 ads.
Thank you,
Oh, you
Twitch.
poor bastard.
Oh, Twitch.
Luckily, I don't care.
But yeah, so
I don't watch the
Hulk
stream.
and his priestess, which is a Inuyasha Avengers crossover.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's 36 chapters with about 1.8k words per chapter.
Okay,
All right,
so
Sneaky, let's hit that button.
is this gonna be Hulk and Kagome or Hulk and Kikyo?
Hulk and Kagome.
He's gonna break her.
Okay, wait, is it
No, you
Hulk?
stop.
Is it Bruce Banner or is it Banner Hulk?
After Hulk disappears
Which
from
version of Banner Hulk is it?
After Hulk, MCU probably, because it is 2018. After Hulk disappears from Sokovia, he crash lands in a forest where, so this is Age of Ultron, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Shortly after, I think.
He crash lands in a fortress where he is in a forest where he is found by a time-traveling priestess. 2 years pass, and Bruce is once again found by Tony Stark, but Bruce is a different man, now calm and happy. Tony convinces Bruce to return to New York, but Bruce doesn't want to return alone. He brings Kagome with him. What will the Avengers say when Bruce returns with Kagome?
I mean,
nothing.
Nothing? She can't do shit.
Actually, no. No, they probably would say a couple things like, "Hey, Bruce, are you aware of what the age of consent is in America?"
To be fair, they would ask that one. Well, Captain America might not, but he's from a different time.
No, Captain America would. Dude,
Yeah, you're fair.
Captain America was a fucking Puritan.
Yes, but relationship gaps were generally much wider than Sneaky.
Yes, but the Puritans are the reason why we have age of consent being 18 instead of Europe's 13 to 15.
Was it? Oh yeah, it was formalized then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like, listen, I don't mean to throw shade at Kagome, but she can't do
Also, like, the cardinal
anything.
sin of breaking up Kagome and Iwasha when the whole point of the fucking show is literally revolving around that relationship.
Yeah. Also, what is with
I
this
declare a
time
public
skip?
fatwa.
Yeah, Captain America roasting Banner for taking a Japanese girl.
That's fair.
Doesn't she have the ability to use magic, like with a bow or some shit, by late series?
Yeah, but that's
She has
against
the
game.
ability to.
Sort of.
She has the ability to shoot shit with a bow in a series that's dominated by people that can run up to you within 2 seconds.
Well, a lot of her
Yeah.
powers were derived from the whole sacred jewel that was time locked inside her.
Which she eventually gets rid.
Yeah, she
and
eventually loses it and loses her powers, and then goes on a self-discovery route where she then rediscovers her Kikyo powers, Kikyo Hime powers, and then regains the jewel again and purifies
But
Naraku.
it should be pointed out that even after she got the jewel back, like, she never did magic in the regular world, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, I
Sure.
don't think so. I think that was like a sort of scenario of like, yeah, magic kind of like left the world at some point.
No, because Sashomaru was in the future himself.
Yeah,
Wasn't he?
no, like they could travel through the well to come to the future, but like just like the mythological creatures didn't exist in the present modern day Japan anymore.
Well, I thought some of the immortals stuck around and they took the long way.
Maybe.
Sashomaru might have, but like, I'm pretty sure there's a whole thing where like he could do almost nothing.
I think that was
in
only
the
possible after they completed the time loop and purified Naraku and prevented him from killing everything.
Like in the series, yeah, absolutely.
Now,
It's been years since I've seen this.
I mean, then again, given that you have the likes of Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and all that, you could make the argument that she could do magic, but like, the unfortunate reality then is that unfortunately,
Well, the best magic she could do would be priestess magic, which I mean, you can look at like Rumiru from like Toho, I guess, as like something she could try and ape a little bit, but still at the
But,
same
like,
time, it's
The most I recall her doing was like general purification.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's priestess magic from Japan, like the purification and evil sealing and stuff like that. Like that's what she would be able to do, which isn't overly useful in Avengers.
I was gonna say, funnily enough, it's a lot more useful if you like lean hard into like the Doctor Strange, or if you leave more into like the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange stuff, that would be a lot more useful. But it's not. It's not that you right.
This
I
is the
shall
comics
purify.
MCU. Might be
I
useful.
shall
That's fair,
purify
yeah.
the evil of the robot.
Yeah. So next
That
up
would
we
actually work,
have
probably.
Obsession, a Inuyasha Naruto story,
Oh God.
featuring a whopping 60 words per chapter. I'm just kidding. It's 600 words per chapter. She loved her brothers, and she knew they loved her. Itachi might love her too much. A family drama featuring Kagome and Itachi as siblings.
Oh, fuck no. Kill it with fire.
Brother, get the heavy flamer.
Indeed. So of course there's an Inuyasha host school club. Yeah, not gonna even bother trying to figure that one out. We have Inuyasha and Walking Dead with Kagome times Rick Grimes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What?
No.
Apocalyptic love. Kagome comes back from the past and decides it's time to let everyone in the past die. She has graduated from school and moves to America to go to medical school, but something strange happens. Of course, the Asian goes to medical school. But something strange happens. People are dying, but when they die, their bodies come back to life with a voracious appetite for living flesh. Full summary inside. So I would just like to say, Kagome would not be fazed at all by The Walking Dead occurring.
A,
So
she wouldn't give a
basically,
shit.
she-
Also, B, the
That
whole
happened like 6 times during Inuyasha.
no, I
Yeah,
think
she
it was more like
probably did
10.
really well.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you
just
said you're
start
up
for that.
purifying left and right.
Oh yeah.
Problem solved.
Just
Is
start
that-
throwing
sounded-
seals.
But you're saying that?
How is there still a future if she's letting the time loop remain unsolved?
I don't know.
Naraku kills
There's
everyone.
reasons.
Naraku
Because,
kills everyone. That's part of the reason that the well opened.
yeah, reasons.
Well, that's one of those zombies. Obviously.
Now trapped in Georgia.
I mean, listen, there are worse fates than being stuck in Georgia.
Like being stuck in
Everyone in
Louisiana.
Stuck in
Georgia is
Ohio.
stuck in Georgia.
Oh yeah, or Ohio. Louisiana or Ohio are worse fates indeed.
They are significantly worse fate. At least Georgia doesn't have to buy you.
Kagome must find a way to survive in this new terrible world of Georgia.
Guys, Georgia is not that awful. There's some great.
Sure,
Listen,
second,
there are
building
some
in the
bomb-ass
background.
pizza places in Georgia.
Rick, who is now awake on a mission to find his family, can't help but be attracted to the young Japanese woman. Can Rick ever go back to his wife knowing he loves someone else?
Ooh, that made it worse.
I've heard fucking crack pairings before, but
Author, would you
Spicy.
like to rephrase any of this?
No.
No, he would not.
that's
Ah,
Also,
yes, the legendary fanfiction storytelling here. Kagome ducked into an alley in the small town of Kings County, Georgia. just so we're clear where
Georgia.
this is taking place.
What was she doing there? Nothing in particular. What? What do you mean nothing in particular? You don't just listen. Georgia's a very nice, safe state. You don't just go into random fucking alleys in America.
Also,
That is how
I
you
really
get
have to
shot.
say, I think that The Walking Dead really needs to take into consideration the existence of the South in general. I think Texas should actually be a zombie-free state.
Yeah. Not
So-
just Texas.
So should Florida.
Louisiana.
No,
Yeah.
listen.
Mississippi.
Florida would have something far more terrifying. Zombie gators.
Gators.
as Left 4 Dead 2 has taught us, zombie gators are the strongest entity known to man.
Fucking zombie gators in Left 4 Dead?
Underplayed Creation says, my face when I'm the last remaining CDC agent and all of my colleagues have killed themselves because they couldn't find a cure. But then this random Asian teenager starts curing the zombies. Yeah.
Well, all right, man.
Who knew the intern would be so useful today?
The intern just a zombie breaks in through the front door. The intern just walks up, slaps a piece of paper on it, walks away. What? Why did the zombie just fall over dead? I just did a simple purification test.
I just did a purification ritual. Excuse me, you fucking what?
What? Yeah, you just need to write out. You just need to write these words on this piece of paper. Believe really hard and slap it on their face aggressively.
Well, actually,
CDC agent tries.
a little bit more to it than that, but yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to like flavor it as she's like denying everything about her previous adventures and go just like, no, I want to move on with my life.
It looks
and then
like
this shit
she's
happens.
able to magically summon her bow and arrows again. and she charges her arrows with spiritual powers, and she headshots all of the zombies. And like as we called it, she is purifying them all into ash.
It works.
Yeah, no, it works. I mean, we all called it. We was like, oh, that's basically what Kagome is going to be doing here. She's killing zombies left and right with her infinite supply of arrows and purifying arrows. Again, like I'm just saying, like I can see the cities, no matter where you are, being a problem because of just the sheer amount of dead people. It's always just a problem. But like, I really can't see a large swath of the country having an issue with the zombies.
No, not America. No.
What, like, right? Look, I live 2 hours outside of Chicago, and there are plenty of places. Like, there's plenty of places where you could go that would be a great place to hide from a zombie. Like, right? Like, there's a decent sized nature preserve that is just full of swamp. Like,
Swamp's not really a place you want to be when it comes to zombies, because if the zombies fall into the swamp and then you're traveling through the swamp, they can still grab you while they're stuck in the swamp.
Depends on how deep the swamp is and its
true.
consistency.
This is the kind of swamp where they post some signs of "Don't fucking walk here, you'll fall in and be completely submerged."
Oh yeah, no, zombies are fucked if they go in that.
That's just what was it, Lord of the Rings moment where the lake of dead people or whatever it was.
Yeah, they're down there and they're pissed, but they're not getting back up.
Yeah, they're fucked.
But like, even right, there are lots. It's plenty spread out around here. Sure, like maybe if you went to like a hospital, it would get bad, but like,
oh god, Shane, where's Shane? Calm down, Mr. Grimes. I'm here to help you. Shane, where's Shane?
Where's my boyfriend Shane? Ah, shit.
It's his son, but yes.
Yeah, I know.
No, don't zombies need oxygen?
His son's Carl. His son's Carl.
Say,
oh, you're right.
Carl.
Yeah, Carl. Carl!
Carl!
Damn it, Carl!
I can't tell if you're saying Carol or Carl.
Don't zombies need oxygen? That really depends. Walking Dead zombies don't need oxygen as far as I'm aware, since they are the true Romero zombie.
They are true dead.
Yeah.
The only zombies that need oxygen are rage zombies from like 28 days later.
Yeah,
or
or runners,
from, like,
infected, freakers. Yeah, the more alive versions of them. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that also is that zombies would actually start off slow and then get faster over time, because the initial muscle freezing would occur and then the relaxation would occur.
Well, no, but it also has a lot. It also has a lot to do
then they
with
would
how
slow down
coordinated.
again, yeah.
It has a lot to do with how coordinated they would remain. Like,
but then again, would the rigor mortis actually set in if the limbs were kept moving?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Rigor mortis will eventually set in, and there's not really a point of relaxation, so to speak.
No, there is. Okay, so there's actually
not as bad.
There's multiple cycles. So basically, when you die, you have that moment of total relaxation, and then your muscles stiffen up, and then your muscles relax again as they start to whatever caused them to initially stiffen up starts to break down, and then finally the rigor mortis sets in, which is the final freezing of the muscle.
Yeah, but let's be clear, that's a process that happens over days. Like,
oh yeah, I know it's a process that happens over days,
hours to days.
It's still an important thing. Like, most zombie movies typically do the initial outbreak.
Yeah, it depends. But again, the other thing that's important to how quickly they could move would be what level of sapience and coordination they retain. Like, a human being running is an absurd amount of brain calculation.
It really is. It's actually kind of funny.
complex.
Yeah, it's actually really funny is that we don't actually really run so much as we coordinatedly fall in a direction. at high speed.
Yes.
Basically.
But that's exactly my point. Like, the act of running is an immensely complicated subconscious process, but what's important is that it is nonetheless part of conscious learned behavior, and it's not, right? Here's what's really important. It's not muscle memory
Yeah, it's true.
that's
Yeah.
getting
You
you
could
to
say
run.
walking is too by that same metric. So in which case, zombies couldn't walk either.
Yes, that's always been one of my big problems, is that both
I would say it's a little
walking
50-50 because the whole shuffling thing that the more famous Romero zombie does is more just uncoordinated limb flailing in a single direction. And while you could say yes, the fact that they keep their balance while doing this is a little bit unrealistic for a dead body, you do have to give a little bit of fiat to the author to make the story.
Yeah, but that's always been one of my issues with, like, fast runny zombies, is that unless you're right, if you're doing any kind of Romero zombie, they can't run.
Yeah.
It's not possible. Right. The walking is iffy, but again, author fiat, you got to give them a little bit. You got to give them a little bit. Although, there is something to be said for a literal, like, the unimaginable horror of a literal carpet of the crawling dead.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, that's what happens when you aim at waist height.
The
fair.
Invincible Destroyer, Sango the Titan Slayer.
What?
A Inuyasha Attack on Titan crossover.
I was
be
hoping
honest,
Sango.
I was hoping Titanfall, personally.
I was hoping Sango was just going around smashing up Titans with a fucking boomerang.
Because of circumstances, Sango is thrown into a world not her own, with a shadow rising inside her and memories that do not belong to her surfacing. What will she do, and where is Kiara? An ancient force is returning to Japan, and Sango must find a way to return before it is too late for her homeland. But can she? She must, and the Titans.
No, but before she
but how?
can, she must
Oh,
end the
right.
Titans. But how?
Right, my bad. I honestly don't see Sango really changing the story of
No.
Attack on Titan.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No.
Like, listen, someone like
Kagome, maybe.
Inuyasha could.
I don't know if Kagome could or not.
Purify every Titan.
That wouldn't do much.
I don't know. I mean,
They're all
it's
biologically
or some
organic.
shit.
canon,
I
like-
mean,
Yeah, they're all organic, induced by
Hmm.
chemistry and shit like that. Not
And as
magic
far as
and-
we know, it's not some kind
Yeah.
of magic curse.
no,
Yeah,
we do
technically
know.
it is.
We do know.
Technically,
No, it's actually brought about by a specific combination of chemicals and interactions with the genetics of the people
Oh.
on that island.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like
that's right.
their genetics pretty much link them all up to a sort of hive mind, basically, that leads all the way back into the past and up to a certain point in the future.
Yeah.
That sounds dumb.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
really
got
fucking
stupid at
dumb.
the end.
It's why when Eren
Attack
remembers-
on Titan goes absolutely bonkers.
It's why Eren becomes fucking mini Hitler or whatever. By the way, Mikasa should have gutted him sooner.
Yeah.
What? No.
I agree with the sentiment.
Mikasa should have stabbed Eren through the back with her sword and said, "No, Eren, I am the Targaryen."
Okay.
God damn it, Sneaky.
Listen, she just stabs in the back. No, Eren, we will not be committing genocide today.
Standing strong in Inuyasha, yeah, host Cool Club. Sailor Moon
No.
Inuyasha. Okay, I'm paying attention. Lost in time. In this story, the world of Sailor Moon and Inuyasha were always connected. Well, yeah, because they both take place in the prefecture of Tokyo.
I think they mean prehistory with the Silver Millennium Empire.
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, that literally part of Sailor Moon's lore is that before the fall of the Silver Millennium Empire, magic was running rampant on Earth.
Yeah, so it kind of makes sense for them
Yeah,
to cross over.
That's what we're saying. It works. It works good.
Yeah. The battle with Naraku had only just begun when the Sailor Cosmos when Sailor Cosmos appeared in who the fuck is Sailor Cosmos?
It's Usagi. It's Usagi's damn
Yeah.
ultimate power up.
something.
She is a sailor guardian from the Oh, it's her daughter.
No, it's Usagi. She time traveled.
Clearly, you don't need a computer to
She
time
reveals
travel.
her true form in the last 2 acts. Okay, let's just skip to the bottom.
Yeah, I'm going. By Cauldron, blah blah. Eternal Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon's ultimate form, but Sailor Cosmos will not hear it. She does not compare herself to Sailor Moon. She is not worthy of the Sailor Cosmos title. Instead, she calls Sailor Moon the true Sailor Cosmos. Okay, yeah, fine. Yes. So she's basically a failed timeline time traveler.
Ah, yes, one of those. Thank you, Trunks from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But still technically Usagi.
Yeah. Okay, Sailor Cosmos appears in the picture. Chaos is a part of the whole ordeal that awaits them, a battle that may change everything, says Shomaru, the cold demon lord of the Western, finds himself in a tricky situation. You're really losing me. Not gonna bother trying to read that one. Come morning, Kagome times Sasuke, a Naruto Inuyasha crossover. Kagome and Inuyasha have lots of alcohol, and then they fall in love, and then have sex.
I don't think you needed the alcohol for that one.
No, for Kagome and Inuyasha, it would have helped.
Prismatic. Their fates had already been planned, laid out by the machinations of those who had come before and were never meant to intertwine. But Kagome had never been the type to suffer injustice silently, at least when others were concerned. Luckily for her, Usagi was the same way. A Sailor Moon Inuyasha crossover featuring Shiteno times Kagome. Whoever that was.
Who wrote that?
What?
Who wrote that?
W. Huntress.
I thought that sounded familiar.
Do you know them?
I've run across some of their works before. It's meh.
Unfortunate. They seem to have actually figured out what a summary is.
Yeah, no shit.
Let's see. Oh, we have Nexus who also read it. It's not atrocious, but not outstanding. All right, fair enough. Mediocre
Exactly.
it is. Let's see. Yu Yu Hakusho Inuyasha, Harem AU.
Of course.
Why not? Oversight. Kagome knew there was something off with the story they told her, not that she thought Sasuke was lying. He'd never lie to her. It just didn't make sense, the reasoning behind his sudden betrayal. As disbelieving blue eyes stared at the half-decoded paper in her hand, she almost wished it was wrong. It seemed that there was far more secrets surrounding Itachi. A romance drama story. 500,000 words, ongoing for the past 2 years.
Jesus.
Why? Oh, God. Inuyasha My Hero Academia. Okay.
No. This
is the toughest assignment yet. All he had to do was become friends with a feral girl that appeared out of nowhere with no family and only said one word, Miko. Her quirk is a mystery, and he is more interested in her feral, doggish way of life. Inuyasha My Hero Academia Fusion World. Hawks times Kagome.
Huh?
What? This is just also... Author, please. The bird and his puppy. Author!
Uncomfortable.
This is very disturbing.
Check, please.
Yeah.
Also, this fucking word count. 44 chapters, 30k words.
Bruh.
That's like literally 800 word chapters.
Check, please.
Bruh, at least get 1,000 words a chapter.
Oh, Oh god. There's some shit in the Prismatic story about some of Tsukino's more comedic meanness straight, recontextualizing it as some sort of abuse, which is what lost me. Fair enough.
What?
Inuyasha Sherlock crossover. Her haunting past.
How does this
Kagome
even-
wanted nothing more than to move on from her days of time meddling and let the memories be buried with time. But a figure lurking in the shadows hinders her. If she wants to keep her secrets from the public, she must allow only people who might be able to help her in on the mysteries of her past. A fatal foe thought to be gone comes for her, and peace be found in the aftermath. Kagome times Sherlock Holmes.
Which Sherlock is this even supposed to be?
From the Sherlock show.
Modern.
Which
Yeah.
one?
The modern
The
one.
one.
Which
one?
That does not help
Probably
Sneaky.
one.
What do you
There's
mean?
like 3.
The one
There's
called
like 3 that have been made in the
Sherlock.
last.
Sneaky, you
the
don't
BBC
understand.
one. The
Yeah.
BBC one probably.
I think there are 2 BBC ones in the last 10 years.
The one with Benedict Cumberbatch,
Okay.
probably.
Probably not
The
a good
British
one. I mean,
crime drama first
The 2010
broadcasted in
one.
2010.
Yeah, see,
okay, so
It's been
I mean, it's
very
probably not
much.
good regardless.
No, it's
I
not.
mean,
Of course
yes.
not.
Like,
that series wasn't bad.
Yeah, but the series has historically had a massive amount of fangirls who just absolutely ruin everything they touch. So any
I
fan
actually
fiction coming
rather
out of it would be
dislike
terrible.
Sherlock.
It started
What?
okay.
Okay,
Yes.
here's my issue with a lot of Sherlock type stories. They turn him into an asshole.
he is an asshole.
Was.
Okay, so
He's
no,
kind
no,
of an
no, no.
asshole.
I understand where Nose is trying to come from. Basically,
They turn him into like a sociopath.
he is.
They don't.
A
He
complete
is.
unreasonable asshole.
Okay, so
Have you read the original?
I
novel?
do agree with Nose's statement, if not his reasoning. I don't like the modern interpretations of Sherlock because it's not supposed to be about, oh my god, look how smart Sherlock is. It's supposed to be showing Sherlock in a bad light. The author,
Oh yeah, there wasn't.
the author doesn't like Sherlock.
There
like-
was the other thing. Where it's
Oh,
just
like the Enola Holmes novel that I tried to read and just couldn't because God forbid this bitch read
Ugh.
any books with Sherlock in it.
Yeah.
literally just the half the Sherlock stories in the fucking show just make him look stupid by comparison to any other Sherlock story. It's just like, oh hey, there's this random mystery where they're trying to open Irene Adler's phone, but the real mystery is how did this guy get killed in a field by a car? And it was just like the solved mystery, and it's like, oh, it was just a boomerang.
Okay,
it's
so what
just
you have
like-
to understand is that they're dumbing it down for a modern audience. Knows.
Yes.
Well, they're dumbing it down for the North audience, clearly, because Britain.
That too.
But yeah, no, basically, a lot of people of modern day misunderstand the overarching theming of Sherlock and how Sherlock is supposed to be this asshole who is also really smart and like just really comes off as this pretentious piece of shit. And you're
Because
not,
he is.
because you're not supposed to like him though. Like that's part of Sherlock is you're not supposed to like him.
And the entire
well,
thing is
I
that
mean,
he gets the job
the whole
done.
thing is that he's cold. He does not allow emotions come into it. Like
Exactly.
Sherlock does not get emotional until halfway through the 3rd collection when
Yeah.
he's in his later years.
But unfortunately,
yeah.
that's the collection that people typically use when they're using as inspiration for writing the modern renditions of Sherlock.
Which
But
has been fought in court by the estate
yes.
because that's still super recent.
Yeah, it's a whole other problem. But the important thing to point out is that even though Sherlock does get emotional in the later years, it never enters into his crime stuff. The thing that people don't understand is that Sherlock was an asshole when he was younger, not because he was emotional, but because of the exact opposite. Young Sherlock Holmes was borderline sociopathic. And I mean that in the literal definition of a sociopath. He didn't give a fuck about how his actions would affect other people, right?
Well, that's not
if he needed to, let me.
true. That's not actually true there.
No, like for instance, the way he interacted with like his housekeeper and what he did at home, right? He didn't give a shit if playing violin at 2 a.m. in the morning was going to annoy the shit out of everyone else. He was going to practice the violin.
No, that's why he went looking for a roommate, though, like Watson, who wouldn't care. That was a big thing in the first volume. And like, if I start playing in the middle of the night with a violin, is that okay? It's like, that's fine. My sleeping habits are shit anyways.
To
Like,
be fair, that's because of the
No,
he's
but, like-
aware
rampant
he's
PTSD.
aware what his
But he doesn't
behavior
consider
has
like
on
he's like,
others.
oh, I'll get a roommate and it'll be fine, not considering the rest of the apartment.
Personally speaking,
No, apartments then are not the same as apartments now, for one.
personally
Brick
speaking,
walls.
I
And-
like the modern rendition of Sherlock done with Psych. I think Psych did a very good modern version of that.
I haven't seen that one.
Psych isn't, well, it's not really Sherlock, but it is like hyper observation.
It
Ah,
was
Psych is
inspired
great.
by Psych was just an amazing
It's
show.
very much inspired by the way Sherlock does stuff.
Yeah,
And they
that's
actually
kind of my point.
they show it from the Sherlock XP's point of view, which is fantastic. It's done super well.
God, Psych was...
what do you mean they show it from like?
So
Oh, I
basically,
noticed.
so basically how a Psych episode goes is you have your Sherlock main character and his Watson, like, highly competent, don't get me wrong, like, his side character, which again was a black guy. Oh wow, we managed to fit a diversity in there without trying to force it in. Shocker. So his sidekick's a black guy who went to medical school and works as a salesman or some shit like that. So he's got a bunch of connections. He's really smart and he knows a lot of shit. And he also knows his friend, and he knows how to handle his friend, who is the Sherlock XP.
Right.
And his friend will come in, and he passes all what he's doing off as like psychic bullshit of like he's rubbing his temples, and then he'll say something, and then about halfway point in the show, he'll rewind the show a little bit and be like, oh, in this scene as he's rubbing his temples, distracting them, his friend is the one who's picking up the pill case and showing it to him, and he's like, oh, she had a meth habit, or stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Well, they would actually show it they'd show it live as well.
Yeah,
Oh, his whole thing is his dad was like, my kid's got a talent for observation.
His dad
so
was also a police detective and kind of taught him how to look for shit and how to connect clues together.
Yeah, so he cultivated hyper observation throughout his childhood. And so the show will like zoom in on things he sees and sort of highlight them. And then when we get flashbacks, it's other things that were clearly in the shot that we just didn't see because there was also a little bit of misdirection with what they were highlighting at the time.
Yeah.
Well, it's right. It's like whatever that
Yeah,
dumb experiment as a kid. Watch them pass the basketball. Watch them pass the basketball. Watch them pass the basketball. How many gorillas did you see go through the scene? What the fuck?
Right.
Yeah.
My man could not count the gorillas.
And they honestly did it excellently. Hands down, Scrubs and Psych were possibly my top 2 favorite live action shows.
Yeah, Psych is definitely worth a watch if you got some time. Like, it replaced Monk for me because when Monk was ending, Psych was starting up.
Ah.
I remember really liking
Monk is also
Monk
another like decent Sherlock XP in a different way.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of Monk because they kind of just, like, maybe in the first season it was alright, but I felt like as the seasons progressed, they were really trying to force the whole Monk has OCD, autism sort of thing.
There were some stuff that they were definitely forcing, but it also probably should have ended within 3 seasons. I think that we got up to like 7.
You can only extract so much out of that stone.
Well, it's not even that. Like, they tell us right away, like, he still wants to solve his wife's murder.
I liked the Finder.
And then we dropped
The
that plot
Finders.
thread for like 4 seasons for some reason.
The reason we dropped it is because they couldn't figure out a good way to write it.
True.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sounds right.
They were just like, let's make this a plot thread. And then they're like, what do we fucking do now? We didn't think we'd get this far.
If you thought the previous My Hero Academia story was cringe, just wait until you see this one.
Why?
Ice in your veins. As she sat at the dinner table with Natsuo glaring at her, Endeavor's indifference, Fuyumi's glee, and Shoto's boredom, she couldn't help but eye the sake bottle. Kagome Todoroki, after all, was not going to deal with her family sober.
So, Kagome is Endeavor's
mom.
kid.
Endeavor's daughter, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also at the same time, a reincarnation, which I mean, I guess
yeah.
sort of fits with Inuyasha, but also at the same time, it's kind of just like, what would she actually change again? Not much.
What
Fuck all.
power would she even get?
Ice.
Because I guess.
That's literally what the title gives away, is she gets ice powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't
she can
paying
give her-
attention to the title, just the summary.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on in my connection?
Another Kagome times Sherlock story.
Hi!
She gets caught up in another adventure, and she doesn't care that the truth is exposed because Sherlock is a being who defies all logic.
That's not. That's not.
That is literally the opposite of
He's-
Sherlock.
That's the
He's an
exact
entirely
opposite.
logical being.
Inuyasha and Bleach, a moth to a flame. At a dead end with hunting shards, Kagome's mother tasks her with taking a break. She goes to stay with her cousin, and Kagome is hopeful for a bit of calm. It's not long before a hollow attacks in pursuit of not only the jewel, but her soul. Ichigo didn't think twice before coming to her rescue, and in doing so, he ultimately sealed their fate. Okay, that could be mildly interesting, but
I mean, it has a brief problem of how the fuck did Hollows never show up there before, because they're supposed to be a worldwide issue and Soul Reapers go all over the world.
And they've
well,
around forever.
actually, as far as I'm aware, they never actually established that. Oh no, they did establish that Hollows because the Quincy were all in Germany. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a British. There's a
They
whole British branch. I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah, they absolutely
Hmm.
established that it's a whole problem. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that at some point one of the Soul Reapers mentions that they've been to other, right? Like, I think it was a throwaway line of like, yeah, there's more Hollows in Japan, but they're all over the fucking place, but Japan does seem to have more of them.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
Like the only thing
not
I
really
know is
sure how
that
you would do
Britain
that,
has
yeah.
its own branch established, at least from Burn the Witch, I think.
Yeah.
Which was canonized.
Burn the Witch.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
It was like a spin-off. It was a small one-off
that's
throwaway
interesting
thing.
because up next we have Inuyasha times Burn the Witch.
Wait, was that supposed to be tied into Bleach?
Yeah, it's same world.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
just knew
I
that
found that out
they.
like much later.
I just knew that they're like, hey man, we'll give you another chance for a one shot.
Yeah, it's basically,
'Cause-
I believe, the British branch.
Wait,
of
what the fuck? Did someone really update as? Wow, holy shit! Someone actually updated as we were going through this section.
Excellent.
Wow.
Inuyasha and Bleach and multi-crossover in Inuyasha. Okay, so we got Crystal Clear, which is the Bleach cross. Commenters are like crack for me, feed my addiction. Ask before putting
One
in
of
any
those.
communities. Reposting this story back on FFN. This takes place after the end of Bleach. A random encounter changes the lives of several people in Karakura Town. Kurakara Town, sorry. Strange things are happening, and the new arrival to wait. Wait. Oh, wait. Okay,
Hey,
so
hold up.
I wasn't going fucking insane. He spells it Kurakara Town here, and then in the next sentence, it's Karakura Town.
Good.
Just who is Kagome, and why is she making Urahara nervous? And then we have what it means to be isekai'd by the same author. Ask before you put me in a community. Very pretentious of you, author, with your 23 favorites. Kagome refused.
Don't talk to me with your 30 Your 30 favorite story.
You can't get on my level, peasant.
Don't you lecture me with your 30 favorite story.
Refused to make the wish at the end of her journey, ending up in a verbal smackdown with the gods because no wish is selfless. Thus, she is given a reward and punishment in a single go. She must now live at the end and beginning of time where all parallel worlds meet, constantly isekai'd into a new world for new lives eternally. I mean,
pretty cringe.
Quantum Leap.
yeah, effectively Quantum Leap, yeah. Now, let's go check out what we could have had. Naruto crossovers.
Oh no.
I'm not reading that one. Fuck that.
Oh, no,
What is already there?
Hell of a boss.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, no. I
Yeah, no,
saw
please
that
don't.
and I was just like, no. No.
Forever Together, a Naruto League of Legends story.
Oh,
What
Oh,
happens
God.
when our favorite blonde, is tossed into the world of Runeterra right before he seals Kaguya? Alright, I mean,
okay. Well, his entire world's dead. That's for one.
yeah, but that's fairly common in Runeterra. Also, that power level of his is comparable to a fair number of Runeterra's creatures, so I mean, he's not exactly
I've
going to
never
be,
played this.
huh?
I never played this. How is his power level even remotely close to that,
Okay.
or rather theirs
Oh,
to
that
his?
world has all kinds of gods
Yeah,
and demons and eldritch
basically,
entities.
I wouldn't say it's common, but there's a lot of ways to ascend to becoming a god or near god figure, and there's also 6 Infinity Stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 6 Infinity Stones. You can ascend to god or near god-like powers. Gods in general seems to hand out like god tier level powers to people pretty much every fucking Tuesday in that world as well.
Yeah, a lot of the heroes that you play as in the game are characters who are either they found a godlike relic, they got powers from a god, they got worshipped until they became a god, they found an ascension relic which allowed them to become a god. They drank from some pure well that was secretly the world bleeding, and so they became a god.
Or they found some fucking crazy ass magic spell that functionally made them a god. Like,
Warrior Jax, who's just that good.
or they grew a
Yes.
mushroom.
Yes, or they
I
grew a
have
mushroom.
to. Is this actually like some of the old canon or something? Because I've
Oh,
never heard of any of this.
A lot of this is no, it's all canon still. It's all because Runeterra, got to keep in mind, also works off of the sort of Dota style of multi-world theory.
Yeah, I know like
Of-
there's like a few different planes of some creatures, but most
Yeah.
of all of it's just kind of in one setting at least.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing you gotta understand. The first like what 100 and wait would have been the first 106
Yeah,
champions
106.
of League. Yeah, because he stole it all at like 106, right?
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
The first 106 champions of League are either direct exports of heroes from Dota or 2 heroes from Dota with a few abilities swapped.
I thought the
Like,
whole point was that they were all stolen from the Play Dota forums.
They were that was mostly Heroes of New Earth, but that also
Yeah.
happened in League.
yeah,
Fuck you,
But-
Pendragon, your game.
the vast right there's all kinds of champions that you can go look at them in League and then just go, oh, this is the Dota patch 1.6 version of whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That was just Leoric. That was just Queen of Pain. That was just Naga Siren.
Wasn't 1.6 the Yule's era?
Yes.
1.6 was Dota All Stars.
I just
No, that was
named a random era of Dota that happened to stick in my mind because it was Dota All Stars. But the point is, right? So a bunch of those were stolen from Dota. So a lot of the heroes in Dota, right?
And yes,
They
it
were a
was
combination
post Ice
of-
Frog. Yeah. Right.
Yes, they were a combination of actual WoW lore and fuck it, we're making stuff up, and occasionally we're just going to steal a real character because this is a fan game, like with Lena.
Yeah. Also, well, there's also shit like I think it was Sven.
Phantom Whisperer?
No, Sven wasn't. Either Sven or Juggernaut was inspired by Ichigo, and
That was Jug.
yeah, there was a lot of characters that were just straight up like, this is a popular character currently in anime, so we're just gonna add them to Dota with this model.
There was straight up an Ichigo mod
I know.
for Jug.
Yeah, right. There was all kinds of stuff like that.
That sounds incredibly dumb.
Yeah,
It was. It was great.
So
Fuck
basically, Runeterra is a pretty clusterfuck of a crazy ass world. People literally in this League of Legends canon, there are scientists out there that scienced so hard they were able to cast spells using technology.
Anyway, the point is, in both Dota and League, becoming a god or a godlike entity or acquiring the power to compete with them is
Fairly
pretty
common.
fucking trivial.
Yeah, so
Like-
again, Naruto at the peak of Fourth Great War is, I would say, maybe in the upper echelons of
He's
mortals.
in the upper echelons, but like, he's not outstriping people. Like,
there's
for
a
crying out
lot
loud,
of people that would be stronger than him still. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but then there are some who are fucking hilarious. Like, there's a character named Meepo who was a fucking Tomb Raider, and he just
That's Dota, not League.
That's Dota.
No, I know, but my point is,
His
in
point
terms
is
of wild
that-
power scalings, that where godlike power is just handed out, right? A fucking tomb robber found a fucking shiny rock and now can make sentient clones of himself that will never go away.
Yeah.
Like, just
Okay.
I found that. Instantly, Meepo is one of the funniest characters. He has some of the best fucking lines in the entire game.
I gotta shit the hey, where you come from?
You're the king of sand? Well, I'm the king of dirt.
Let's see, we got here Naruto Young Justice.
Oh.
Injustice 2, Darkness in Light. With his
No.
freedom regained, Naruto is lost and unsure of what to do. The life of the anti-hero Naruto had torn down his relationships, and the life of a mercenary left him betrayed. Now he finds himself on a team of young justice heroes, with new burdens thrust upon him and new enemies stepping out of the light. Will he be able to survive the coming storm? Naruto times Batgirl.
Cringe.
That sounds pretty awful.
Oh,
How dare you?
You thought that was bad? You thought that
dare
was
you-
bad?
How dare you break up my dream ship of Batgirl and
Which one
Harley
you're looking
Quinn?
at.
Total
what?
drama, Guardian, Dragon.
You just keep fucking scrolling.
Naruto total drama crossover. 22 teens.
Oh
Continue
no.
22 teens went to Canada to the rundown summer camp of Wawanakawaka to participate in the most absurd of reality shows presented by the narcissist, indifferent Chris McLean and his right-hand chef. Although beside them is an ancient otherworldly presence from a forgotten era that has come out of hiding.
I cast gun.
Honestly, I can see this summary being narrated by Chris for an
Yes.
episode, so
That's sad. That's a sad. I can actually see that.
you can hear it too, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
God, I remember watching that show when it was first started. It was amusing at the time, but it dragged on way too
Yeah, it
long.
really lost its
Yeah.
But
novelty factor.
when they got to what was it, like season 3, I was like, guys, let it go.
The joke's over, guys. It's been like 1 was
Like, the
okay,
second-
2 was
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
2
1 was good, 2 was good, 3 was.
3 started where it started to fall off, and it should have kind of quit. Then afterwards, it was just no.
Once again, the Canadians don't know when to quit.
Oh boy,
Wait, was that a
here we
Canadian
go.
show?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Demonic Blades V2. A
Oh, no.
Naruto, Bleach, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen crossover. Also, it will only have abilities from Dark Souls, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Bleach. No characters. Oh, sorry, not Dark Souls, Demon Slayer. So it's a Naruto story with characters that will have powers from those other 3 stories.
No.
Yes, I agree with the sentiment. No.
Some people got mad at me for not being an actual crossover, but you just have to wait. I'll explain everything later.
Nah.
You don't need to explain. You have been already sent to the Forever Box.
The real summary of this story is, we shinobi are tools. What I wanted was his blood, not him. I have no regrets. That line stuck with Naruto for years, so much so he decided he didn't want to be a tool. No, he was going to become a master of himself. However, he wasn't going to be half-assed about it. He was going to be prepared. 3 years he prepared to leave the village hidden in the leaves. Ah, yes. And then he did it. Of course.
Why did he have to prepare for 3 years? Shit, I just realized, Sneaky. He had to take 3 years to prepare to leave Tsunade's massive titties.
Sure.
It took me 3 years.
Yes. Here's a great crossover that works flawlessly.
It's not going to work at all.
Red Dead Online, Naruto style. Fresh from Japan, Naruto goes to America in search of a fortune, but with bad luck, he is wrongfully arrested for a crime he didn't commit, and 6 months later, he is broken out and makes friends with criminals, creating new business ventures as he survives in the last years of the Wild West with the help of his wits and killer karate. No Chakra AU, no Elemental Nation AU, no Jinchuriki AU.
Then what's the fucking point? Also, he'd be dead in like 4 adventures to a guy with a shotgun.
Basically. Unless he's Jackie Chan.
And does he? No, just parry the bullets, you fucking casual.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, hang on a second. Sneaky, we know for a fact that the hand parries have a much shorter parry window than anything else. It's not an issue of being good or bad, it's an issue of having bad tools.
I don't know. Max begs to differ.
It's
Max is also inhuman.
Yeah.
Might be the
You sound
meanest thing you've ever
salty.
said about me.
Well, you are a saint, so clearly you have divine blood.
It's not how sainthood
That's actually
works.
no, yeah.
That's not how it
Well,
works at all.
I mean, technically, if he's a saint, he's not a person. He's a warp ghost. But
Are anime saints
technically, yes,
powerful?
I am indeed a ghost by that measure.
I mean, he can always go Ultra Kill style and just parry the bullets back.
Yes, just punch him.
I mean, look,
my
as long as
favorite
he can
quote
find
of Ultra Kill was
warmth.
definitely, "I'm going to Ultra Kill you."
Machine, you need to stop ultra killing.
No.
So says the Lord.
How about no?
Hey, look. All I'm saying is, just get good like God Hand. That's a fucking video game.
Machine, I have spent
That's
too
a
much
video
money
game
on
that is
therapy.
punished by being stuck with the controls it has.
Oh
Yes.
boy, so time to trigger Atin a little bit more. Hero
I'm not sure
Rising Next Generation. Naruto Young Justice. The next generation of heroes is on the cusp of becoming the new League of Justice. However, a looming threat draws closer to Earth. Naruto will have to give a few final lessons to the team. Sequel to my other story, Hero Rising. This story starts at Season 3 Outsiders. Naruto times Massive Harem. Naruto times Artemis, Megan, and Zatanna.
You fucking
That
leave
doesn't sound
Zatanna out
massive.
of this.
No, Zatanna's hot.
You leave her out of Naruto's disgusting little meatbag fuck shit hands.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, that's
so
fair.
That was some words.
okay, so fourth beast. I am so glad you're here for this sign.
Oh god,
Oh,
here we
no.
go.
So Fourth Beast is a story we've encountered in the past.
Really?
Oh,
We
this
have?
is a yes. This is a V. Oh, this is the V2 of it too. Oh, even better.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh
no.
no! I'm remembering this.
So Fourth Beast is a story in which Naruto shows up like
Oh,
2,000
no.
years before the plot of DxD as a full-on old man sage power level from Naruto. And
God.
he becomes the god king of the Shinto faction. And so the story opens up with the execution of the white cat, the horny white cat. No, that's Kuroka.
No,
Shirone.
Kaneko. Kaneko is the younger sister who was going to get executed until
Oh, right.
Surzex interfered.
Shirone, yeah, right.
Yes, his name is Shirone.
Yeah. So Shirone is about to
Nah.
be executed in the public arena. And Naruto shows up and he's like, "Behold, I am the god king of the Shinto faction. How dare you kill a yokai in my presence?" And everyone's like, "Oh my god, is he the legendary Fourth Beast?"
What?
I
And then he like threatens Surzex into letting Sharon go free.
That's funny.
And Surzex is like, "Oh, you're too powerful for me, Naruto."
I kneel, Naruto-san.
Yeah, literally.
The literal godlike.
Just don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah,
It'll hurt your brain, buddy.
Not going there.
It's so
Makes too much
fucking
work
bad.
there.
It's so bad. If you want to read it or just look at the first chapter, here it is. Oh, but yeah, apparently in this story, Naruto is as powerful as Ophis in the Great Red.
No. Literally nothing is as powerful as Ophis. That's just not a thing.
Yes. Avatar Maelstrom. Earth, fire, air, water. Only the Avatar can master all four elements. The current Avatar Korra does not have to go through her journey alone, however. She has help in the form of a ninja named Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto times Korra times Asami.
Okay, but how does this work given that chakra lets you manipulate all the elements and Naruto, by the end of it, can use all the elements?
Well, duh. That's how he's gonna teach her.
Yeah, obviously. Naruto is from the Naruto world. I haven't been caught up in this crossover, though I never saw that before. What do you mean you've never seen Naruto be from the Naruto world before?
What?
Something happened that allows him to bend all four elements instead of having jutsu.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll do a backstory chapter instead of beginnings to explain. Why?
What?
This is Naruto. He looks super badass and he's wearing blue-themed clothes. This is Katara. She's a waterbender and old.
Nope. The abandoned ship.
This is Korra, the current Avatar. She's young and brash.
Alright. I'm gonna go do... It's 8 o'clock. Fuck this.
One
This
last
is so
story
dumb.
here. Oh, good. Two last stories. Because, of course, Edge Runner has to bring out the worst in people.
Oh, please. Actually, you know what? We went like... It's been like a month. So I'll take it.
Edge
Go
of
watch Edge Runner, people.
Dreams. Night City, a place where dreams are drenched in blood. In an attempt to not be a nobody and become a somebody to be admired and loved, Naruto Uzumaki goes on a dangerous journey. However, his own desires is used against him, and the world around him preys on the weak. It's time to wake up and burn the city, samurai. Edge Runners crossover. Single pairing of Rebecca times Naruto, no chakra AU.
All right, there's
Of
so
course
many
it'd be
problems with
Rebecca.
this. First of all, burn the city specifically only has meaning for Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah. But you see, it sounds cool.
Roller cool. That's good enough.
And then we have Unhero, a Naruto My Hero Academia story times massive harem. Kaguya's ceiling goes wrong, and to save herself, she detonates herself inside of Naruto.
That's I'm pretty sure I know where this is going.
Exploding and destroying everything. An explosion with a primordial god behind it ends up sending him to God knows where, but also allows him to negate what shouldn't be possible.
Huh?
I don't know. As he awakens in Japan in a crater with a tall muscle man nearby, he has to figure out what changed in him and what to do now. Naruto times Setsuna times La Brava times Himeko Toga. Yeah.
I
Go one more down. One more down, Sneaky.
No, we're not talking about Sangetsu!
Do it.
No.
This is
Do
where
it.
it ends. I put it into it all. I release you from your fates. Go forth, my viewers, and survive another 3 days so we can come back here on Tuesday. Because there's always more, and it always gets worse.